Hi everyone, I wanted to discuss today I want to chat to you today about peanut butter and what are you feeding yourself as well as your children. There's so many peanut butters on the market right now, and the things I look for in a peanut butter, there's four main things. The one is the ingredient, the next one is the sugar, salt, as well as what fats are they using. Now if we look at the ingredients, when looking at a peanut butter, some of them have a lot of fillers, emulsifiers, they will have extra oil, a lot of sugar added into them, as well as salt. So when looking at the ingredient list for peanut butter, what is classified as a better source is getting the one with the less ingredients possible and with no sugar or very low sugar content. And when I look at this one, there's about 99.3% peanuts found in this one. So this is your roasted peanuts and salt. So for me, this is a fantastic one. But in South Africa, in Australia, obviously you get different variations. So this is why I'm saying to you, you go and have a look at what peanut butter you actually buying and start making better choices. Another thing to look at is the sugar content. Now, some of the peanut butters out there, for 1 tablespoon that you're going to be consuming, you're consuming between 1 to 2 teaspoons of sugar just in one portion. Now, for me, when we look at sugar, sugar increases obesity. If we consume it in excess, it increases metabolic syndrome, and we're seeing these conditions more and more in children at the present moment. So we really need to bring the sugar content down or take it out if we're going to be buying the peanut butters. And I know there's a lot of peanut butters on the market also that are sugar-free. Now, if we look at a low sugar content, less than 3 grams per 100 grams is classified as a low sugar content in an item of food. Some of the other guys that you read will say less than 5 grams, less than 10 grams. I work on less than 3 grams per 100 grams of sugar, of added sugar in food products is the best option. Quite challenging, especially when you see so much sugar in food. Another thing, number 3, is looking at the sodium content. A low sodium content is less than 300 milligrams of sodium found per 100 grams in a food item. This one over here has 222 milligrams, which makes it actually quite ideal. If you look at sodium content, some of you with high blood pressure will be affected by sodium. Not all of you, but some of you will. Some people with hypotension, so low blood sugar levels, will actually need more sodium. So just depending on your current state, but children do not require a huge amount of sodium in their dietary intake unless they're very, very active, they're sweating a lot, they're in a hot environment, but really they should not be consuming an excessive amount. And the last thing I wanted to chat to you about is hydrogenated fats being added into peanut butter. Hydrogenated fats create hardening of the arteries, and they increase your LDL and reduce HDL. So for me, they change the cholesterol profile, but the hardening of the arteries is one of the worst things you can do for your body. Imagine your 3-year-old, you're giving them this hydrogenated vegetable oil found in peanut butter and other food items, your biscuits and your pastries and those things, and then it accumulates over time. So we start seeing cardiovascular disease increasing hugely in the population, and even in young kids as well as young teenagers, because of consuming hydrogenated fats, but also looking at the overall dietary intake. So those are the 4 things I wanted to chat to you about. And then just briefly, if I was going to give you 2 tablespoons of peanut butter today, that's equivalent to eating 1 protein portion, 4 fat portions, and a little bit of carbohydrate, because this one doesn't have much sugar. But if I look at another option that you can have, is you can actually have a boiled egg and 20 to 24 nuts as an alternative. This is your 1 protein, and this is going to contain your nuts, and that will obviously have your fat and a bit of protein. So what I say to clients is look and see what you feel like. If you're wanting the peanut butter, you haven't got an allergy or an intolerance to it, then great, add it in. But obviously it's got to work within the energy value of what you're consuming, because it contains a lot of energy in such a small portion. For me, I love to just have something like this. I'm going to be more full with having an egg as well as the nuts. But once again, it just depends on what you prefer, and also just looking at the energy content. So thanks so much for joining. If you got any questions, just leave me a note and I can get back to you. Okay, cheers.